We're waiting for that last 30 seconds, I think. Let's begin. Good evening. It is Wednesday, February 11th. Welcome to the Planning Commission. This is a virtual public hearing. I now call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Aurora Planning and Zoning Commission to order. I will call for roll call, please. Commissioner Jejic. She was here. We'll come back to her. Commissioner Bush.
Present.
Commissioner Riley.
Present.
Commissioner Benka.
Present.
Commissioner Hogan is present. Commissioner Walls is absent. And we will wait. There she is. And Commissioner Jejic.
Had to feed the dog so she wouldn't bark.
Oh, and just say present if you would be so kind. Oh, Gail, you're on mute again. I just need to know that you're present.
I'm present.
Great. We have a quorum. The Pledge of Allegiance will not be said tonight, as this is a virtual meeting. I'm hoping that you all had the opportunity to read the minutes from our January 28th meeting. Is there any amendments or corrections to the minutes?
Oh,
Awesome. Seeing none, the first vice chair moves to approve the minutes as presented without objection. Is there a second?
second.
Awesome. Any discussion on the motion? If there is no objection, the minutes are hereby approved. Tonight we have 4 of the general business items across 2 applications. That's items 8A to 8D. The first vice chair moves to approve the agenda as presented without objection. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Councilmember Jejic, I saw your hand first, so we're going to take her as our second. Any discussion or motions to approve the agenda without objection? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. All right, here comes the long part. Please make sure your home or computer microphone is on mute unless you are speaking. The Planning and Zoning Commission meeting is a quasi-judicial hearing. There will be no swearing in of those who give testimony, but it is presumed that all parties are telling the truth. When addressing the commission as an applicant or representative, please state your first and last name, as well as the organization that you're representing, and you may additionally state if you are an Aurora resident. If you're addressing the commission as a member of the general public for public testimony, please state your first and last name, and if you are an Aurora resident. For each agenda item, there will be an initial presentation by staff. Afterwards, commissioners may ask questions to staff. Discussion of the agenda items by commissioners will be conducted only following a motion and a second. Following the staff presentation, the applicant or their representatives may choose to make a presentation or answer questions. The applicant will be given 10 minutes for their presentation. Commissioners may ask questions of the applicant. Members of the public that have signed up to speak will have 3 minutes to speak on an agenda item during the public comment period. It is asked that only new information be presented. The same argument should not be repeated. Commissioners may ask questions of the public following their comments. After public comments, the applicant will have 5 minutes to address any public comments. Commissioners may ask questions of the applicant. The chair will ensure all commissioners have no further questions of the applicant or staff. The chair will then call for the question. After a motion has been made and seconded, the commissioners will then discuss the case amongst themselves. After the discussion, the chair will call for the question. Commissioners are finders of fact and will vote based upon the evaluation of evidence presented as compared to Section 146 of the Code. By ruling, the Planning and Zoning Commission are normally final. Exceptions are zoning maps and amendments, zoning code amendments, and comprehensive amendments that need City Council approval. Decisions by the Commission can be appealed to City Council by presenting a written appeal to the City Manager within a 10-day calendar of the public hearing. City Council also has the discretion to call up any case, whether on an appeal or not. Notice for a virtual meeting have been published, posted to the city website, and the development projects were posted with signs to the property. Notices were also mailed to adjacent landowners per city requirements. There's no consent agenda item for this evening. I believe first up, we have Aurora Central Library, major sign adjustments, and I believe Caitlin is our planning presenter this evening. Caitlin, take it away.
Thank you very much. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Caitlin. I will be the case manager presenting this project from the Aurora Central Library. So there are 3 agenda items related to this presentation. They are 3 major sign adjustments for the Aurora Central Library. The first major adjustment is to increase the number of allowed temporary fabric wall signs from 1 to 3. Secondly, they would like to increase the allowed square footage of fabric wall signs from 200 to 480. And then they would like to increase the allowed maximum duration of display of the fabric wall signs from 90 days to 365 days a year. So for contextual information, we are discussing the Aurora Central Library location. This is the one that is near to the Aurora Municipal Center. As you can see here, it is part of the larger civic campus that includes the AMC, as well as the courts, the museum, and other civic related buildings. We are specifically discussing the signs that are on the southern facade facing the intersection of Alameda Drive and Alameda Avenue. Here's another aerial view. So we're discussing the signs on that southern facade facing the intersection. And also for your information, the temporary wall banner signs, as you may have seen at this location, they have been doing that since about 2016. They were informed that continuing to do so may cause damage to the masonry of the building. And so the proposed major adjustments are an effort to change the way that they are displaying those signs in a way that limits damage to the building. And we'll go into what they propose in order to do that. This site, as well as most of the surrounding area, is part of the mixed-use transit-oriented development zone. So that's that zone in purple. And then this is a street view. This was taken in May 2025. So you can see those fabric wall signs hanging on the building. That is the facade that we're discussing, and that's the kind of existing sign program that we're discussing as well. As part of the review of this application, 2 adjacent property owners and 21 registered neighborhood organizations were notified. No comments were received as part of that, and so no neighborhood meeting was held. The required noticing and posting of the sign were also completed. Here are examples of the permanent frames that the library is proposing. So these frames would be permanently in place, but the messaging itself would rotate seasonally. And you can see here some examples of that type of messaging. Important to note that this would only be for city or civic uses. So these would not be available for just anyone to rent or to advertise. It's specifically for city and civic uses. This is a diagram of the actual orientation of the frames that they're proposing. And again, this is the southern facade facing that intersection. The approval criteria for a major sign adjustment will be the same for all three of these agenda items. To approve the adjustment, there must be no material adverse impact on any abutting lot, or any material adverse impacts have been mitigated. The adjustment may not violate any conditions of approval. The adjustment may not or must have minimal visual impact on the surrounding neighborhood and is necessary to allow sign visibility comparable to, but not exceeding, that available to nearby lots. So now I'll go into the findings and I'll take each agenda item one at a time. The first one will be the number of temporary fabric wall signs. Staff finds that the impacts to the surrounding lots are mitigated by the large setback from the road, so that intersection of Alameda, as well as the actual width of that right-of-way. Placing the signs within permanent frames will increase the perceived design quality of the signs. The proposed signs make contextual sense within a larger civic campus, and the adjustment does not violate any conditions of approval. So staff supports the adjustment request as it meets the criteria. Secondly, I'll touch on total sign square footage. So impacts to surrounding lots are mitigated by the large setback from the road. Placing the signs within the permanent frames will increase the perceived design quality, and the proposed signs make contextual sense within a larger civic campus, and the adjustment does not violate any conditions of approval. And so staff supports the adjustment request. And then finally, the duration of display for the temporary fabric wall signs. While the library may have content displayed in these frames year-round, the actual content will be changed seasonally, and so you won't have issues of weather-related damage making the signs look bad. Year-round signage has occurred on this particular facade since around 2016, so formalizing the sign's existence will not increase the impact. And the adjustment does not violate any conditions of approval. Staff supports the adjustment request as proposed. So I'll pause there. I'm available for questions, and then we also have representative from the library here, the applicant, if you have questions for him as well.
All right, first, for Caitlin, do any of the commissioners have questions for Caitlin? If not, if we could hear from the applicant, if again, you would state your name first and last for the record and your association, who you are representing, and if you wish, whether or not you are a resident of Aurora. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, commissioners. My name is Ginger White Brunetti. I am Director of Library and Cultural Services for the City of Aurora. I am a Denver resident. Thank you so much to Caitlin and for her fantastic overview and summary of our application for this variance. I am happy to address any questions you have. I think she did a good job of summarizing the reasons for our request. And I do think that this will both allow us to continue to advertise activities that are happening within Central Library and our library system without causing further damage to the facade. We did hear from Public Works that we cannot continue to put signs into the building and drilling into the building any further. It's deteriorating that facade. And so that is one of the reasons for bringing forward this proposal. And happy to take any questions.
Questions from the commissioners for Ginger? Yes, Commissioner Riley.
So you're using fabric signs, you're gonna have to change them seasonally. Was there ever any consideration about a full-time variable message sign where you don't always have to change pull fabric down, either throw it away or have it updated by the printer, and having a consistent sign that all you had to do is put in keystrokes through a computer keyboard.
Yeah, that was a consideration. Briefly, I think the cost of that was one issue that's somewhat more prohibitive for us. The other is just, from my understanding, and maybe Caitlin can speak to this better than I can, I'm not sure that the sign code is as flexible to allow for electronic signage as what we have proposed.
Caitlin or Brandon, would you like to respond to that question?
I don't know, Brandon, if
Yeah.
you happen to know, I can, oh, sorry. Let me
It
pause
would
there.
require a variance as well. You know, I haven't evaluated to what extent, but it would require a variance or an adjustment, I should say.
Any other questions by the commissioners, either of Caitlin or of Ginger? I do have one question for Caitlin or Brandon, and that is allowing these signs in the order that they are, in the size that there are, because theoretically you could put all three prints together and make a very large sign. Is that going to set precedent anywhere else in the city for others to follow suit?
You know, typically we look at each adjustment individually based on its own context, and certainly Caitlin did a great job of outlining our specific evaluations of this proposal. And so we would have to take any other requests on a case-by-case basis and evaluate them against the criteria.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, do we have a member of the public that would like to speak to this?
No, Vice Chair, we do not.
All right. Well, hearing no further questions, may I entertain a motion on agenda item 8A? Commissioner Banka.
Thank you. Based on the staff recommendation, the presentations and discussions at this evening's public hearing, I move to approve the major sign adjustment to increase the maximum duration a fabric wall sign may be displayed from 15 days, 6 times per year, to 90 days total. I'm sorry, per year, 90 days total to 365 days a year, because the proposal complies with the criteria for the approval of Code Section 146-5.4.4.d.3 of the Unified Development Ordinance for the reasons stated in the staff report, and I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Banka. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Riley, thank you for the second. All right. Hearing any last minute questions, comments? If not, roll call, please. Commissioner Judge.
Approve.
Commissioner Bush.
Approve.
Commissioner Riley.
I approve.
Commissioner Banka.
Approve.
Commissioner Hogan also approves. Thank you. Next item, agenda 8B. And because I did forget to say that, please indicate by a show of hands if you had the opportunity to visit the site. All right. We all visited the site. Item 8B, Caitlin, do you have an additional presentation?
No, this presentation was comprehensive of all 3 of these related adjustment agenda items. But if you have
Awesome.
questions or want me to go back, I can.
Nope, not necessary. I just wanted to make sure there was nothing else. All right. May I have a motion for item 8B, major sign adjustment on the number of signs? Commissioner Riley.
Thank you. Based on the staff recommendation, the presentation discussion at this evening's public hearing, I move to approve the major sign adjustment to increase the permitted number of fabric wall signs from 1 to 3 because the proposal complies with the criteria for approval of Code Section 146-544D3 of the Unified Development Ordinance for the reasons stated in the staff report.
Thank you. I have a motion. May I have a second, please? Commissioner Banka seconds. Is there any further discussion? If not, roll call vote. Commissioner Jedjick,
Approve.
Commissioner Bush,
Approve.
Commissioner Riley,
I approve.
Commissioner Banka,
Approve.
and Commissioner Hogan approves. Agenda item 8C. May I have a motion, please? Go ahead, Commissioner Banka.
All right. Based on the staff recommendation, the presentation and discussions at this evening's public hearing, I move to approve the major sign adjustment to increase the maximum total fabric sign square footage from 200 square feet to 480 square feet because the proposal complies with the criteria for the approval of Code Section 146-5.4.D.3 of the Unified Development Ordinance for the reasons stated in the staff report, and I so move.
May I have a second,
Yeah.
please, on item 8C?
And I so second.
Thank you, Commissioner Bush. Any other comments? Any other questions? If not, roll call vote. Commissioner Jedjick,
Approve.
Commissioner Bush,
Approve.
Commissioner Riley,
I approve.
Commissioner Banka,
Approve.
and Commissioner Hogan approves. You have full approval on this. Thank you, Gingers. Thank you, Caitlin, for your presentation this evening. We look forward to seeing signage on the building. All right, our next item is item 8D. This is the Advent Health at the Aurora Highlands Creative Sign Plan with major adjustments. May I have a quick show of hands of those that were able to visit the site? Awesome. Thank you again for driving all the way out there. Tonight we have Deborah Bickmeyer as our presenter. Deborah, take it away.
Okay. There we go. Good evening. I'm Debbie Bickmeyer, Senior Planner. I will be presenting item 8D for you this evening. The applicant, Advent Health, is requesting approval of a creative sign plan with one major adjustment for a proposed medical campus on 37.78 acres. The site is located east of E470, approximately 1/2 mile south of East 38th Avenue and the Aurora Highlands Parkway. The site is zoned mixed use regional and is located in sub-area C. The site is designated city corridor place type in the comprehensive plan and is located within the Aurora Highlands master plan area. There we go. As previously stated, the site is located immediately adjacent to the east side of E470, located just south of the new interchange along E470 at 38th Avenue and the Aurora Highlands Parkway. And the site is located approximately 3/4 of a mile north of 26th Avenue. As stated, the property is zoned mixed use regional, as is all of the area adjacent to E470 along the east side of the highway. All of that property is within the Aurora Highlands master plan. To the east of the site is zoned R2, medium density residential, and the area to the west across E470 is zoned I1 Business Tech District. The subject property is outlined in red in this image, and it is currently being developed with the initial phase of the proposed 88,000 square foot medical facility. That will include an emergency room as well as 58,500 square feet of medical office building. Primary access to the site will be from Main Street, and a secondary access will be located to the south off of Warm Springs Avenue. The site is bounded to the east by existing residential development, and to the north is an existing regional detention pond and open space. The area south of the site is planned for additional medical and office uses, and the area west of E470 is currently undeveloped but zoned for light industrial uses. Sorry, I have a happy trigger finger this evening. This photo is taken from the eastern lane of the northbound side of E470. As seen here, the site, the building is a little over 500 feet from the right-of-way line. This view was taken from the east side of Main Street, looking toward the primary driveway entrance to the site, as well as the front of the medical office building. Which one? Okay. And these photos, the top left is taken from the front of the new building, looking toward Main Street. It is, as stated, over 500 feet away from Main Street. And then the bottom right photo is taken from the primary entrance, looking across Main Street towards the existing residential development. 28 adjacent property owners were notified of this application. 3 registered neighborhood organizations were also notified. No comments were received and a neighborhood meeting was not held. The site was properly noticed and the hearing boards were mounted and witnessed that they didn't come down. Some of the items that were discussed during the application review consisted of sign quantity and size, impacts on the adjacent residential development, as well as compliance with the Aurora Highlands design standards. Permitted signage is outlined in section 146-4.10 of the UDO. And the initial phase of the proposed medical facility consists of more than 88,000 square feet. Therefore, the site is considered a large-scale single-tenant use and would be permitted to have 2 square feet of sign area per linear frontage of the building to a maximum total sign area of 800 square feet and up to 8 signs. The intent of a creative sign plan is to give the applicant flexibility and an opportunity to customize their proposed signage, as well as to request increased sign area. The applicant is proposing this creative sign plan with the initial development phase of the medical campus, with the intent that the signage will serve the overall site as the campus continues to grow. The applicant is requesting 11 signs total with approximately 1,350 square feet. The request includes 1 major adjustment to allow a monument sign to exceed 100 square feet per sign face. The proposed sign plan includes 2 monument signs, 1 located along the east at the east entrance, as well as 1 visible to E470. 5 wayfinding signs located internally to the site, and 4 building wall signs. A creative sign plan can be approved administratively by the planning director. However, because this request includes the monument sign with 353 square feet per face, it was determined that this requires approval of a major adjustment by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Okay. The first monument sign I'll address is located at the primary building entrance on Main Street. The sign will be 8.5 feet tall and have 72 square feet of sign area per face. The sign will have a stucco finish and pin-mounted, internally illuminated pan channel letters. The monument base will be constructed of stone and have an overall height of 10.3 feet. The sign will be perpendicular to the street, located within the median shown in this photograph at the entrance, which will be located more than 20 feet from the back of the right-of-way line. As previously stated, the site is adjacent to existing single-family residential development. So it was important to staff to ensure that the proposed signage would not create any adverse offsite impacts. Applicant worked with staff to revise their initial proposal for this monument sign from a large internally illuminated cabinet sign to a sign with an opaque background and individually illuminated letters in order to keep glare to a minimum. My apologies. The second proposed monument sign will be situated adjacent to E470 along the west side of the building. The sign will have overall dimensions of 10 feet tall by 35 feet in length and consist of 353 square feet of sign area per face. The sign will have a stucco finish and pin-mounted letters that will also be internally illuminated. This monument sign will be located on a 2-foot masonry base constructed of stone that matches the building and have an overall height of 15.5 feet. The sign will be located approximately 80 feet from the property line and roughly 170 feet from the northbound lane of the highway, just south of the 38th Avenue exit ramp. Excuse me. Staff worked with the applicant to demonstrate that the sign was sized appropriately to be visible from the highway without causing adverse impacts. As proposed and stated, this sign is requested at 353 square feet per face and exceeds the 100 square foot maximum as stipulated by code. Due to the setback of the sign from the property line and the highway, the applicant has demonstrated through sightline analysis that the sign will not be create any adverse impacts to the traffic that is moving along E470. There are a total of 5 wayfinding / directional signs proposed. Each sign will consist of 4 by 3 foot sign face and be 2-sided. The signs will, the signs have been designed to accommodate the growth of the campus so that additional lines can be added in the future. The signs will consist of a cabinet mounted on a 2-foot stone base and will consist of an opaque finish that will include the campus logo and the directional information as needed. The directional labels will be routed and internally illuminated. All of the proposed signs are located internally to the site and will not be visible off-site. There are 4 wall signs proposed. The wall signs will consist of individually mounted, internally illuminated pan channel letters and/or logos mounted midway up the building facade along a stone band that surrounds the building. The overall sign height of the emergency sign will be 3 feet tall and consist of 81 square feet of sign area. These signs will be located on the south and east facades. The corporate name and logo signage will also be 3 feet tall and consist of approximately 94 square feet. This sign type will be located on the east and west facades of the building. As you can see in the images above, the proposed signage as it's proposed. The top left image is of the eastern facade that would be facing Main Street. The west facade is in the top right, and the south facade facing Warm Springs is on the bottom left. There is no signage proposed on the north elevation. There we go, excuse me. The site is adjacent to existing single-family residential east of Main Street, and these images represent what the view is imagined from that distance. The picture at the top is taken from the entrance, but located on the west side of Main Street. Again, staff did work with the applicant to limit the quantity and size of wall signage to minimize the impacts on the adjacent development. The building is set back over 620 feet from Main Street, and the internally illuminated signage should not create off-site glare. The site is within the Aurora Highlands Master Plan, and which does include design standards for monument signage. These images identify the type of signage that is envisioned for the community, and it does allow for variation within the signage consistent with these forms and materials. The proposed monument signs incorporate a stone base and column feature that complements the community signage and follows the prairie-influenced character of the development. The approval criteria for, the approval criteria for a creative sign plan can be found in section 146-5.4.3.f.1. And they have demonstrated that the proposed signage enhances the architectural elements of the building, are located in logical locations, and do not cover key architectural features. The wall signs are compatible with the architecture and located in complementary locations. The design quality is complementary to the building architecture and compatible with the surrounding area. All signs will be internally illuminated, and the design of all signs is coordinated. The design of signage should not cause adverse impact. The E470 sign, which requires the major adjustment, is set back at an appropriate distance from the western property line, and the applicant has demonstrated that the sign has been appropriately sized based on the distance and the 70-mile-an-hour traffic located to the west. For the reasons stated, staff recommends approval of the creative sign plan with one major adjustment to allow for the one monument sign with 353 square feet of sign area per face, with one condition to address technical issues prior to the recordation, because the application complies with the criteria for approval of Code Section 146-5.4.3.f.3 of the UDO. That concludes my presentation. Do you have any questions I could help address?
Questions for Debbie on item 8D? Commissioner
sir.
Riley.
Thank you. Deb, you mentioned that staff had been working extensively with the developer on this, and that there's only one real issue that we have to look at, which is the large monument sign. I was curious as to why this now has come up with that building almost finished. Was that because of the deliberations between the staff and the developer, and that's why it took so long for a signed plan to come forward?
Well, we opted at the beginning of the process to keep the sign plan separate. The site plan itself was approved administratively, and by delaying doing the creative sign plans under a separate request, we were able to work through things as the building was able to move into the construction phase. The applicant is available to speak. I don't have the exact time frame of when the facility is due to open, but our timing was always intended so that this sign plan would be approved prior to the construction, so that the signage could be in place when the facility opened. So it was sort of always a collaborative effort. And in hindsight now, it was terrific in that timing, because I was actually able to go out and get those photographs that showed the context of the building to the street and the adjacent sites, which I don't think we would have been able to do at the front end of the project.
Okay, thank you. Now on Exhibit A, I just have a question. This is for my own edification, which is on page 42 of our packet. There's a red dotted line around 470, and then there's another block down further south, 2 blocks. I'm just curious as to what those red dotted lines indicate. Again, it's page 42 of our packet, Exhibit A, which is the subject site plan.
Okay, thank you. That's what I needed to get to. My apologies.
It's the vicinity map.
Yeah, the
Vicinity map,
vicinity
thank you.
map.
Okay.
Well, I
Right.
could probably
Those-
jump
Yeah.
in too.
Yes.
You know, those are not typical, but those are kind of the city boundaries, because that grayed out area is unincorporated
Okay.
Adams County.
Okay, I just wasn't aware. I didn't know if that was part of this proposal. I see these red lines and I didn't know, but now you're telling me that's unincorporated. I'm assuming that in future development packages, if we see that, that's an assumption we should make.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Debbie, you indicated the applicant is here. Does the applicant wish to make a presentation, or are they here to simply answer questions?
The applicant's consultant is on to make a presentation. And if he is ready, I will stop sharing so that he can begin.
Awesome. And
Okay.
applicant, please know that you have exactly 10 minutes to make your presentation. I will wave my hands or do something to show you that, you know, you're getting close to your time period. We look forward to hearing from you. Please state your name, your company name, and your whether or not you live in the city of Aurora, if you wish to do so.
Thank you very much. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Dale Klingner. I am an architect with Smith Group. I am a resident of Arvada, not Aurora, but spend at least a day a week out there with you on the job site. I do want to allow Aaron Ward to speak first on behalf of Advent Health for a little bit of an introduction, and then I'll run through a short presentation.
And Aaron, if you would be so kind as to repeat your name for us and tell us what company you are with.
Absolutely. My name is Aaron Ward, and I'm with Advent Health Parker. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I serve as the Chief Operating Officer for Advent Health Parker. We're excited to bring a new emergency department to this community, along with dedicated primary care space. The space has been in development for years, and we're thrilled to open it in September. I know that was a question earlier, so we are planning to open towards the end of September. This initiative is grounded in Advent Health's mission to extend the healing ministry of Christ by caring for the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. In an emergency, access to care close to home can make the difference between life and death. Through primary care, we also have the opportunity to build trusted relationships focused on prevention, clinical disease management, and long-term wellness. Because this is an emergency facility, clear and appropriate sized signage is essential. In urgent situations, visibility and ease of access are critical for patients and families seeking care, especially those driving 75 to 85 miles an hour on E470 trying to access care. While Advent Health is a new brand name to this market, our roots run deep here. Adventist Healthcare has served Colorado for more than 130 years, beginning with Boulder Sanitarium in 1893, now Advent Health at Vista. In the next few years, Advent Health is investing $2 billion in the Rocky Mountain region to ensure that faith-based, community-centered care continues to meet the needs of our growing communities. This project in Aurora Highlands represents more than a new facility. It's a long-term commitment to the health and well-being of the people who live here. Thank you in advance for your time and consideration of our proposal. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm going to pass it over to Dale.
Thanks, Aaron. Wanted to give sort of a high-level overview of what our vision of this entire development will be. As Debbie stated, this is the first phase with on this approximately 40-acre site. It is a 3-story, about 88,000 square foot medical office building. It has a 10-room emergency department on the ground floor. It has additional on the ground floor. There is a 5-room imaging department. 3 modalities will open at the beginning of it, and there are 2 additional ones that are shelved that can be built out as the community needs arise. On the second floor, there is a 27 exam room outpatient clinic. It also has a couple of imaging modalities up there. But all 3 of the floors do include some shelf space so that there's flexibility to grow the service lines as needed without building additional. But there is a long-range plan here that does include a full hospital, approximately 240,000 square feet. The initial build is likely to have, and this is obviously subject to change as we move forward with this development, approximately 84 beds, including med-surg rooms, ICUs, and LDRPs for women's services. There would be shelf space in here as well, so that it can grow again without having to expand the building initially. Some of the additional cardiopulmonary suite, there's some 7-room surgery department will be included in there. And again, approximately 60,000 square feet of shelf space in there. Potential with that first or second phase of development would be an additional office building, likely to be approximately the same size, 3 stories, approximately 82,000 square feet. The initial plans that would include a cancer center, specialty cancer center, as well as outpatient services for additional clinic space. Ultimately, this hospital could expand, adding an additional 100 beds, as well as the clinical and logistical support spaces to go along with it. There is also a plan for potentially 2 more additional office buildings on the site. And this is an early vision of what the hospital, MOB, and emergency department would look like. Obviously, things will develop as appropriate as we move forward with the project, but this is the initial vision showing the hospital, 5-story hospital, the emergency department, which did in fact end up being 3 stories, and this would be a potential medical office building. All of these would be attached as one primary element in one building. As I mentioned, the phasing of this initial phase right here, we're showing in the center with this red box representing the current medical office building. Phase 2 could involve both a hospital initial tower as well as the MOB, including the cancer center, as was shown in the rendering. So this could be, phase 2 could include all of this. And then as the need arises moving forward, the hospital can add another additional tower onto that with that 100 beds that I referenced, and then the potential for 2 more medical office buildings placed around the site. By the way, this is rotated, so north is to the right here, 470 running north-south. A little bit clearer picture of what that may look like. Obviously, this is conceptual, but this is the vision that we have started with that will obviously develop as we move forward. Debbie did such a good job of presenting. I'm going to probably be reiterating a little bit here, but we did try and use a little bit of our computer abilities to show you what this may look like and represent both the building and the materials of the monument sign, this being the 470 sign. And you can see that the stone on the building is replicated here with the pillar and the base of the 470 sign. This is probably a little closer than Debbie's photo was showing. There is a 100-foot multi-use path between 470 and our property line. So you're more or less beyond the multi-use path here, not quite in a car. This would be the view from the southbound direction, so you can get a sense of the size of the monument compared to the building itself. Wanted to show a couple of other examples. I think if you all drove by the site, you're probably familiar with the large Aurora Highland sign that is visible from 470. To the right is also sort of a neighborhood sign that they use throughout the development. And we're trying obviously to be in sync with the materials, with the scale, with the Aurora Highlands signage as well. And just another example of the University of Colorado Hospital at the Anschutz campus, which is a very similar monument type sign. The second monument sign, as Debbie has already indicated, is the Main Street sign. This would be the primary entrance to the building. As noted, this is the stucco background with the stone base and the stone pillar, individual letters, which will be illuminated. But there is no additional lighting. There's no exterior lighting or internal cabinet sign in this location. And as we've really tried to emphasize here, while we do have building wall signage on the building itself, we're really important to establish this place and give the directional information to the public as they may be coming in times of need. So we're really trying to make sure that it is clear identification of place and directional information to get to services, emergency services in particular. Just a couple of other examples. Advent Health signage, both in the metro area. To the left is Advent Health Parker. This one in the center is actually from Kansas City, and then also the Advent Health facility down in Castle Rock. Just trying to show that each one of these is a unique character that matches with the building, which is certainly our intent here with the monument signs for the Aurora Highlands development. Building wall signs, as we've already discussed, we do have 4 signs proposed, this being the primary entrance to the building. We have both the emergency sign and the Advent Health logo on the primary facade of the building. And as previously noted, there is a proposed Advent Health sign on the south. Excuse me, that's the west. The south does include emergency signage. And then, as we just shown in the rendering, both emergency and Advent Health. The north side of the building does not have any signage. That actually will be where the hospital grows in the future. So that elevation will eventually go away and be replaced by a hospital. A couple of other examples, just like I showed in the previous one. This is from Advent Health Parker, indicating, the Advent Health signage is there. We have opted to use the color version of the branding so that it is a little bit more visible. Another example from UC Health Anschutz, quite a large UC Health sign up here on the top of the building, but appropriately scaled with the building, which has certainly been our goal with the Aurora Highlands as well. Similarly with the emergency sign at Castle Rock.
Dale, you've got about a minute left.
Okay, I'm almost there. One more slide. Thank you. Yes, the directional wayfinding sign, as mentioned, this is all internal to the campus. Similarly, Parker, example down in Orlando, this brand is consistent across the nation with all the Advent Health campuses. So we're trying to repeat that here so that brand recognition is recognizable for all the public. Another example of Aurora Highlands is similar signage here for directional wayfinding. That is my last slide, so I hope I made my time limit.
You did great. All right. Any other questions from the commissioners? Do we have members of the public ready to speak?
No, Vice Chair, we do not.
Awesome. Well, I do have a quick question, and that is, well, we've talked about the Aurora Highlands having a comprehensive sign package. Did you get their blessing for the signs that you are proposing at the scale and size that you are proposing?
I have not consulted with Aurora Highlands at this time. We will be working through their DRC to make sure that they sign off on all the proposed signage prior to the time of installation.
Yeah, we did. We made repeated attempts to contact the design review board with the Aurora Highlands. I think we were the first commercial development to present ourselves to that, and they were actually in the process of still defining their commercial guidelines that were in place. But like I said, we did reach out repeatedly, but they never responded to us to do any kind of presentation with them.
So I have a question for staff, and that's that should the commission choose, can they modify the motion to include that it does need to pass DRC?
I will let Lena weigh in on that. I believe that could be a condition, yes. And to take a step back for a moment, they were noticed and sent the information for the sign package, and they were referred. So they have seen the information, and we did not receive any comments from them during the review process.
Okay, Lena, I would like you to opine on my question.
Good evening, Vice Chair and Planning Commission members. Lena McClelland, Senior Assistant City Attorney. Yes, you could make that a condition. I'm not as familiar with this master plan to know whether or not that DRC approval is required. If it is required, then it would be a secondary, it would be required after you guys approved it anyway. But I can't speak to that, but certainly you could make it a condition of your approval this evening if you wanted to.
Okay, other questions by the commissioners? If not, may I have a motion, please, on agenda item 8D, creative sign plan with one major adjustment.
This is Commissioner Jetchick. Agenda item 8D, creative sign plan with one major adjustment. Based on staff recommendation, the presentation and discussion at this evening's public hearing, I move to approve the proposed creative sign plan with one condition and one major adjustment to allow one monument sign with 353 square feet of sign area per face because the application complies with the criteria for approval of code section 146-5.4.3.f.3 of the UDO for the reasons stated in the staff report. Approval to be subject to the following condition: resolution of outstanding technical issues prior to recordation or issuance of building permits.
May I offer a friendly addition to your motion, Commissioner Jejic? And
Yes.
just state that this also needs to meet the approval of Aurora Highlands DRC if required.
That's fine.
Okay. We have a motion with two conditions. May I please have a second, Commissioner Riley?
Yeah, I move to second that motion to include what your friendly amendment was as well.
Okay. Any other comments by commissioners? I have one, and it's for Aaron and for Dale. And thank you for putting signs on buildings. It's very stressful often when people come to hospitals and literally can't find the entrance and don't know where to go. And it's kind of dark out there, at least for a while, until you get your full campus designed. So I appreciate the fact that you have done a good job of running the gauntlet for additional signage, because if I ever need to find you, I don't want to have to look for you.
Absolutely.
That's a time we don't want people to have to look for us.
I am sure that that's the case. All right, we have a motion and a second. Barring anything else, I'm ready to call roll call. Commissioner Jejic.
Approve.
Commissioner Bush.
Approve.
Commissioner Riley.
I approve.
Commissioner Banka.
Approved.
And Commissioner Hogan approves. Please make sure we are on an invitation list because we would love to celebrate your new facility.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. Next on our agenda, do we have public invited to be heard on any non-agenda items?
No, Vice Chair, we do not.
All right. Comments by commissioners, miscellaneous items of business. Yes, Commissioner Riley.
So, Brandon, I did get my account, my Aurora Gov account, but my name, my password are not allowing me access, and the Okta message doesn't allow for replies. I don't know who to talk to in IT to figure out why I cannot gain access to my account.
Okay. Did you get an email that has like your password and stuff on it and stuff?
Yeah, I got a separate email for my username, separate email for my password. I tried both. They didn't work. And then I went to the Okta site, which says this is how we're operating. And it's a do not reply capability. So again, I don't know who in IT to talk to. I don't mind doing it myself. You guys don't have to. I can certainly call somebody and have them walk me through the process, but I do not have access.
Okay. We'll work on that and let you know what's next steps.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron and Dale, you are free to go, but you are also welcome to stay.
Thanks for your
All
time.
right.
Yeah, thanks for your
Thank
time,
you.
everyone.
All right.
Brandon, I also have a request, please, related to our new commissioner, City Council, and you may have this in your upcoming report, approved Robin Becker as our new planning commissioner. Can you please send us information, each one of the commissioners, just the general application or information on Ms. Becker so that we have that introduction? And then I am assuming that she will be at our next regularly scheduled meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, we can. I believe we can send you that information. And yes, we have been in contact with her, and we do have a gap in meetings, so she'll definitely be expected to participate in the next meeting, which will be next in March.
Perfect. Anybody else have any miscellaneous items? If not, we're going to move to our planning division manager report. Go ahead, Brandon.
Thank you. I don't have any updates on administrative decisions. That we have not had any administrative decisions since our last meeting. I don't have, if I'm forgetting something, let me know, but I don't have anything specific for you tonight. If you have any questions, I'd try to answer them.
Was there an update on the hearing that I think council continued? I never can remember this. I apologize. It's not the Village Green property, but it's the one that People Creating Spaces represents.
All I know is the project that we refer to as the cottages, which is
The cottages,
Jewel,
thank you.
is scheduled, I believe, for the next city council meeting.
Okay.
That is correct.
So that will go on the 23rd of February?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Any other administrative decisions you want to make us aware of? Anything?
Unfortunately, we haven't had any since our last meeting, so I have none to update you on.
All right. A report from our city attorney. Yay, Lena.
Good evening, everyone, again. Nothing really to report except for that I know there had been questions last time about a recent bill that was introduced, House Bill 261036. That was the bill about taxes on vacant residential properties. However, that bill did lose in committee, and so there is no reason to provide an update because it is dead. So just wanted to let you all know. And that's all I had to report this evening.
Perfect. Finally, Commissioner Riley, Commissioner Walls, and I have had the opportunity to meet together regarding study session items. We will be sending out a study session agenda for 2026 as soon as we have confirmation from staff that they are comfortable with the changes that we made. And mainly it was just moving people around to accommodate everyone else's schedule. We will be having 2 study sessions in the month of March because we have no meeting on Sunny's birthday. So look for 2 study sessions again in the month of March. One will be a school project as well as transportation update. And the other will be a meeting with one of the Aurora Public Schools board member to talk about school review, just in general. So I'm looking forward to those study sessions, and we're teeing up a full schedule for our retreat. We will get out a calendar invite as soon as, again, we can confirm that actual date, but we're looking for sometime in April. Anything else for the good of the, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Brendan, go ahead.
And we can touch base after this too, or via email. What's the topic for the APS meeting in terms of review per se? What's the
It's not
topic?
So much a review. The APS would like to just meet and greet Planning Commission, let them know what their plans are for school expansions, for school closures, and overview of APS in general, as well as how they understand following criteria set and our role as a review, but not an authority figure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you all for your time. You've been very generous and gracious, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Goodbye.
All right, great
Thanks
job.
again, staff.
Great job.